Hello everyone, how are we doing? I hope we're all having a fantastic day today. Let me just get this all sorted out. Right, I'm trying a new little bit of background music there for the first time today, so yes. Hope we're all having a good day. Now, you might notice, I'm back in the old setup again. That's right, I have moved home. I'm back in with my parents now. Holiday season is over. And next year you probably will be seeing me in a different setting as well, because I'm thinking of going to a different park. So you're going to see me in a completely different setup for when I'm recording my music videos on my Instagram, and for when I post a few Mars Singer specials or strictly specials in between series. So, yeah, it's been an absolutely manic time because moving back home has been just, it's been bonkers. And if you can probably see behind me, these are all boxes of my stuff, which should be in the loft right now, but they're not because my dad needs to replace some of the floorboards in there and he hasn't got round to it yet. So, yes, and the study, if thankfully you can't see it on my webcam, but the study is an absolute mess right now. There are files that need to be sorted out here, there, everywhere. There's shit all over the desk at the moment. So, I'm in a very crowded space right now, which does not bode well for me because I do not like crowded spaces when I'm working. So I'm just going to need to take some time and just, get through these videos as best I can. Now, as you have all probably noticed, Masked Singer UK is being renewed for Series 5. I am so unbelievably excited for the next series of Masked Singer UK. More excited than I was for Masked Singer Australia because while I love Masked Singer US and Australia, I'm less fussed about those ones, I think, because obviously I don't know quite as many of the celebrities unless they're ones that have been mentioned by the judges before, or there's someone who is from the UK that I know, like Charlotte Crosby on UA. I was about to say on Masked Singer AU this year was that was a real shocker. Like I didn't know that she was that famous. This is the thing. I don't know how Australia gets our TV. Like I don't know because we don't get their TV. So how are they able to see? Well, we get some of their TV, the stuff that they broadcast internationally, like Neighbours and Home and Away and all that shit. But there's so much of Australian TV that we don't get to see. So it makes me forget that there might be some you broadcast across the ocean to other countries. So yeah, it's a weird one. But yeah, it was that was a very very nice surprise, and we had some really nice surprises. I'm starting to feel like though that the Australian judges are sort of going out of their way to just make big guesses if they don't know who somebody is, because they keep naming some really really big celebrities, and I'm thinking you guys really need to start looking closer to home, because no way a good multitude of these people going to come over here to Australia to do this show unless they have done the show before in another country. Like, no way is Neil Patrick Harris going over to Australia to do the show. Like, it just wouldn't fit. It just does not fit. Well, obviously you'll get the odd one like Richie Sambora coming over to do Masked Singer UK, but yeah, that was a real shocker. But yeah, it just I just don't see it. I just do not see it happening. And the fact that they keep naming them when clearly they need to start looking closer to home with the clues, it really pisses me off. It really pisses me off. Still, anyways, that is not what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about the costumes that they have released for Masked Singer UK Series 5. And I am so unbelievably happy that we finally got a look at these costumes, because obviously we've got the Christmas special. I didn't cover the I'm a Celebrity special because they're not really my favourite episodes that UK do, because they're not really about the competition, and most often the best singer doesn't win. So that's not what I'm all about. While Joe Pasquale was very entertaining, my God, did that dunny freak me out. Jesus Christ. More the fact that it was strapped around his crotch than anything else. It was just weird. But I've got to say, he did give it a lot of personality, so I was very, very happy with how well he did. And honestly, I did not know that Marlene Klass could sing opera. I had no idea that she could sing opera. Because as soon as, Bearded Dragon comes out with opera, my mind immediately goes to Dame Kiri, because she was the only opera star that I knew that had done the show. So, yeah, it was a big shocker. But yeah, she's very, very good at playing the piano as well. I'm sorry, I am seriously dying over here. My throat is absolutely killing me. Why I'm a singer, I have no idea. That's really bad. But yes. Now, I'm not going to lie. I feel like some of these costumes, the design and the stylization of them feels like a bit of a step down from last year. Like, some of the detailing on these feel like less effort was put into some of the costumes this year, and it's kind of bugging me. Kind of bugging me this year, I'm not going to lie. And this year really seems to be our sort of really, really out there year. Like, every single Masked Singer around the world has had one of these. Like, for Australia, it was pretty much this season, what with Space Fairy and all those kinds of costumes. For Masked Singer US, it was the good, the bad, and the cuddly. Like, that one was just wild. And then, it feels like this year, this is what it'll be for us. So let's get into it. I have no set plan for how I'm going to review these costumes. I just want to have a look at them and get a little bit of a detailed analysis of what they might look like, because they are all so weird and wacky in their own right. So, here we go. Masked Singer Season 5 lineup. Here we go. So, first up we have Air Fryer. Now, I thought this was a robot, as did multiple people that watched the costume lineup beforehand. But the thing is, the weird thing is about this costume is, from the way they've designed it, I have absolutely no idea how tall this person is. Like, the camera perspective makes them look really short, but as soon as they come out, they could be like huge person, but they look so diddy in this costume that it makes me think that it could be somebody like Warwick Davis or his daughter Sasha or somewhere like that. But even then, it doesn't look short enough to be one of those people. So it could either be a really small man or a short woman. I have absolutely no idea who this could be from the stature, because this is the proper costume this year that does not give anything away about body type. What's more is, I have no idea if this person's going to be good or bad. This is the thing, some of the costumes that they do on this show are so wacky, but even the wacky ones you don't know are going to be good or bad. Like Donuts, I didn't know if he was going to be good or bad, and I'm not going to lie, when I found out it was Michael Owen, I was a little bit gutted, because I was hoping that we have a really good singer in the Donut costume to properly bring it to life. And while Michael Owen brought the comedy side of it to life, I feel like he could have used the costume a little bit more. Which is why I'm so happy that we've got a good singer in Donuts on the American show this year, because they have got one of the proper sort of classic old Hollywood style voices that everybody knows and loves from, you know, back in the day. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. But yeah, again, I have no idea this year who is going to be good or bad, but I know who I'm hoping is going to be good. So, moving on. Next up, we have Piranha. Now, Piranha is interesting because I think this is a guy, first and foremost. I'm pretty sure this is a man in here. I could be wrong, but it looks like they could possibly have a sportsman's build. I'm not entirely sure, or it could be an actor or someone like that. This costume doesn't look like it could be somebody that is a professional singer. I'm not sure. Something about the vibe it gives off just says entertainery, fun kind of costume vibes to me. So I'm not sort of leaping out of my seat for this one. I don't think it's my favourite costume in the series. But, yeah, who knows? Who knows? You never really know. But it does look whoever it looks like they are in there, it looks like they're very tall. So we're just going to have to see what voice comes out. Now this one, honestly, I find to be a little bit cringe. It's not my favourite because it looks very anime, and I'm not a fan of anime. But people online might hate me for saying that, but that's just my honest opinion. But this is Bubble Tea. Now, I wasn't sure what this was. People were saying it was some kind of like Doja Kitty or whatever the hell they were saying. I don't know, Boba Cat or something like that. I've got no idea. I thought it wasn't that because obviously it's got a straw coming out of the top, so it's obviously not related to a cat in any way, despite the ears on the lid. But I thought this was a milkshake when I first saw it, but bubble tea now makes much more sense because of all the bubbles that we have. And I'm happy that they've made this costume, because over here, bubble tea is such a popular drink right now. I'm not a fan of it, I haven't tried it yet, but everywhere I go there's just bubble tea shops in every single town you go to now. It's so insanely popular, and it's such a new sort of young and cool thing, and it's fantastic. People who are online are probably going to hate me for saying that as well, because they're like, what do you mean it's a young and cool thing? Everybody of all ages can enjoy this. Bubble teas have been around for years. Where have you been living, under a rock? I have no idea. You know, I didn't pay that much attention to... I don't pay that much attention to certain things that are going around in today's culture. I just don't. That's just not me. But, yes. This is bubble tea. Now, this is very obviously a woman in here, and I hate that it so obviously is because of the way that they've styled the costume. Just because it's a woman, you don't have to make it pink, for goodness sake, unless they ask for it to be pink and purple. I have no idea. But she is very, very slim. Look at those walking sticks right there. I am getting model, catwalk, or maybe TV presenter who is heavily into veganism, or actress kind of vibes. I'm not getting sports person vibes, because if this was a sports person, those thighs right there, they would be a lot thicker than that. I mean, obviously this is a promo shot, so I don't know if this is actually the person who is meant to be wearing the mask actually in the mask, because I remember the sausage had two different expressions in the clue packages and when she was on stage. So I didn't actually know if during the promo shoot for these photos, I knew it wasn't her during the clue package, but I didn't actually know if it was Joss Stone in the mask for these kinds of shots. So yeah, that's one thing that the Masked Singer haven't really clarified. So yeah, but this costume, I like the costume, but it's not my favourite of the series. Now this one I really, really like. This is Chicken Caesar. Now obviously that is a joke on a chicken Caesar salad, because obviously you've got the salad leaves and all that kind of thing, and he is wearing a gladiator outfit. Now whoever is in this outfit, I think they are hopefully going to be a good singer. If they're not, I'll be bitterly disappointed, because how good Hugh Sheridan was, A, at singing and bringing his character to life on Masked Singer Australia Series 4. But my goodness me, this costume just looks hilarious. I love it when they have a chicken costume on the show, and I hope to God we get some clocking out of whoever is in this costume, because being a chicken, it's just the best opportunity to bring a character to life. And whoever this guy is, I think he is going to have a massive, massive amount of fun on the show. He is just going to bring so many good vibes as soon as he steps out onto the stage. And they've done a really good job with the mask as well. I like that they've added all the wattles and the comb and all that as well, because that is, you know, what you'd see on a typical rooster. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've been in cages with roosters, because I did animal studies in college before I switched over to music. And, my God, roosters are absolutely bloody terrifying. They are absolutely terrifying looking creatures. Well, they're not terrifying looking, but they get very, very defensive over their hens, and the sharp prong that they have on the back of their legs, if you get stuck by one of those, you are going to be cut very, very deeply. So if you think about keeping chickens, and you also think about breeding them with roosters and having chicks, for God's sake, keep your eye on the rooster, because they are bloody lethal, those things. So, yes, Jesus Christ. Now, next up, we have Rat. Now, Rat, to me, could be wrong on this, Rat looks like it could be a woman. I'm not entirely sure. The eyelashes on costumes have fooled me before, because, you know, the rhinestone face on Rubber Ducky on Masked Singer US kind of, you couldn't really tell if it was a man or a woman. This looks like it could be a woman, but I'm not entirely sure. But I absolutely love the sort of handyman vibe that we're going for, with like the dungarees, the sort of dirty clothes, and the tool belt and everything like that. This looks like somebody who is going to bring a really sort of fun vibe to the character, but also have a few little serious moments along the way. But this looks like a really, really fun costume, and this is one of the slightly more detailed ones of the year. But I like that in amongst all the craziness of them trying to, you know, bring out some really out there costumes, they are still having some slightly more down to earth costumes like this one, you know, some more sort of slightly more logical ones. But I'm glad that they just didn't go with like a simple rat costume, because that would have just been boring. This is a very, very nice costume, and I hope that whoever is in this mask is a good singer, because this is a really, really nice costume. Now, this is one that I'm not entirely sure about. So, Cricket. Now, Cricket is obviously dressed like a cricket player, but is that a bit too on the nose for who might be under the mask? Abso-fucking-lutely. No way are they going to dress an actual cricket player in a cricket player costume. That is way too on the nose. That's like when they put Tiger, the rapper, in the Dalmatian suit with a football outfit on. No way is that going to be a professional football player. That is way too on the nose. So I do not think that this is a cricket player at all. I think that this is... Well, and it's also like when they dressed Gareth Malone in the cactus outfit, and it was like a mariachi-style wrestler. No way was that... oh, no, sorry, not mariachi. That's a guitar player. Luchador-style wrestler. Oh, I'm so stupid. Right, so going back to this. But yeah, no way is this a cricket player. He's tall, he has a big build. Obviously, this is somebody who is in show business away from sport. Maybe they're not related to sports. Maybe they could be a sports presenter. I don't know. They could be related to sports in some way, just not cricket. But I think this is probably most likely an actor. I don't know if this is going to be the best singer of the series, because costumes like this can go either way. This is one of those costumes where you really don't know if they're going to be a good singer or not. But this is a cool costume. I like it. It's one of my favourites of the series. I've been waiting for them to have a cricket on the show for a while now. On this show, anyway. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what this person brings out. Now, this is one of my absolute favourites, and one that I have been waiting to see on the show for quite a while, because I love bird watching, and at our local nature reserve, we have long-eared owls roosting there, and they've actually started breeding there as well, which is fantastic, because they've been so rare around there and our part of the country anyway for a really long time. But they've actually started roosting right next to the main hide, so you can see them like in proper plain and close-up view. And I've been down there and I've watched them wake up and head off to hunt at dusk, which is really, really cool. But it really depends on the day, because sometimes they'll be at the front of the tree, sometimes they'll be at the back of the tree. You know they're in the tree, but it just depends on where they position themselves during the day that you'll actually get to see them. Now, this is a very unrealistic owl costume, I must admit, because honestly, these eyes kind of look like nightmare fuel. Some people might get a little bit freaked out by this costume. Once again, this is a costume that could really go either way. You really don't know if a costume like this is going to be a good singer or a bad singer. Now, at first glance, I wouldn't say that they've put a professional singer in this costume, but I could be wrong. This is giving me sort of somebody who might be like a TV presenter on actor vibes. Whoever this person is, they look like they're going to properly embrace this costume again, and I hope we get a couple of hoops out of them as well. That will be really cool as well, because on this particular Masked Singer, they really lean into the character side of things, and they tend to over in Australia as well. Over in America, they do bring the character out, but they also add so much more on top of that. And that's the one thing that sort of bugs me a little bit about UK and AU compared to US, is that it's so based around the costume and the character and the silliness of it that it doesn't sort of then delve deeper into that like we see on Masked Singer US. Because, yeah, I feel like we don't get a lot of emotional performances on Masked Singer UK. It's all about the sort of silliness of it. But we have seen it quite a few times on the Masked Singer UK, which is lovely. But yeah, this looks like a really fun costume, and I'm very, very excited to see what happens with this costume, because I love the sort of Angus Young type schoolboy outfit that they've stuck on him. That's really, really nice. Now, this is one that I didn't realise until I actually saw what somebody had written about, that somebody had actually found the names for the costumes. Maypole. Reason being because we have not had a May Day festival here where I live for it's nearly going on like 15 years now. Like, one of my earliest memories as a kid was me and my cousin dressing up as cowboys and Indians for the preschool float and going around with the May Day parade and then heading on to our local field and setting up the maypole for the May Day festival. We have not had that for so long. Like, the council just got rid of it, and I've no idea why, because it was such a great part of, what sort of it sort of united the town in a sense. It brought everything together, and now they've got rid of our annual horse racing show as well, which was a thing in June, which was a chance for local businesses to promote themselves. Car shows would come down and everything. We'd see traction engines, old cars from like the 20s, fairground rides and all that on top of the horse parading and show jumping. And I was so gutted when they got rid of it because of COVID, and they just haven't decided to bring it back. I have no idea why, because it was a fantastic event to have every year. Now, this is a really, really cool costume. I like this. Now, the person in this, I'm not entirely sure whether the build is slender or not. It's quite clearly a woman, because if you look around the chesticles area, you might just be able to see they have sort of created an area for the chesticles. Just me to point that out. Jesus Christ. Now, this person, she looks tall, but that could be deceiving. When she comes out, she could be really short. I'm not entirely sure what this person's stature is going to be, but this is another costume I think that could go either way. This person could be really, really good, or they could have a sort of mid-voice and be a little bit plain and go out very early on, or they could be just absolutely terrible. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. But I really love the decoration that they've put all around this maypole costume, from the face all the way down to, the ribbons at the bottom. This is all very reminiscent of, like, the old-fashioned May Day festivals that go on around the country. And again, I don't know if this still goes on in other parts of the country, but, yeah, I feel like they're really starting to phase them out. And it's a real shame because it was such a fun part of the year for spring. But, yes, that is Maypole, and next up we have Eiffel Tower. Now, this is another very deceiving costume because you cannot see the build of the person inside, you can't see the legs, you can't see the thighs, so you can't tell if they're an athlete or an actor or not, or someone who bodybuilds. The arms, I'm looking at the biceps now, they look a little bit thick, I'm not entirely sure. Now, this is another one that is completely genderless. I have absolutely no idea if this is a man or a woman in here. I'm leaning slightly towards man because a lot of the costumes that are coming sort of later on look like they're built for women. And one thing that Masked Singer UK has a proper habit of doing compared to Masked Singer US, and I'm still pissed at Masked Singer US that they keep doing this, is putting more men on the show than women. We really try and make sure that we balance it out over here. So we often have 6 men, 6 women. And then last couple of years we've had a duo and it's sort of become a little bit imbalanced. But yes, we always have 6 men and 6 women on a show. I think there has been a slight imbalance on previous series, but yes, this is completely genderless. I have absolutely no idea who is going to be in this costume, and I have no idea what to make of it. This is one that has completely stumped me. I have no idea if this person is going to be good or bad because it's so disguised. I don't know their build, so I don't know if they're a sports person or not. But I'm getting sort of actor-y vibes from the costume if I had to make a rough guess. But I have no idea. I'm a little bit disappointed they didn't call it Blackpool Tower, though. Because this is Britain. And we have the Blackpool Tower, which is iconic for its famous ballroom. But then Strictly might have come in and gone, you can't use the Blackpool Tower because that's our thing. That's copyrighted. So, yeah. Apparently, the Masked Singer and Strictly are still locked in a really bitter battle for ratings because, my God, Masked Dancer, they refused to let anybody from Strictly go on the show after Craig did, or who was currently affiliated with the show after Craig did. Bruno was perfectly fine because he's no longer affiliated with the show, so he's not bound by contract. But, yeah, I kind of feel like that's a little bit cruel. Because just because you've lost OT and besides, Masked Singer is still lower than both Strictly and Bake Off in the ratings right now. So I don't see what the threat is. I really don't. Also, I actually had a little look at the ratings between UK and US. Australia doesn't really count because they're a lot less populated than. Yeah, but they've still got quite high ratings for the population of the country. But UK is actually currently higher in ratings than US. And that's actually a little bit troubling because, US is a really, really good, like, there's so much production value that goes into it. But I think what's harming their chances of still getting higher ratings is the fact that they keep putting out 2 series a year. And there's no need to do that. And my favourite podcast, the Marsinger Rahaput podcast with Puya Zanvikili and Liana Boris, who are absolutely fantastic hosts, by the way, they they have said, that even they don't want, 2 series a year. And I agree with them. It's too much. And I agree with Dancing with the Stars over in the US as well. You don't need to do 2 series a year. You're trying to cram too much entertainment into, it loses the surprise value. This is why I'm so excited for Mars Singer UK every year, because I've had that break from it. I've had that time away from it. And I'm ready to enjoy it again. So, yeah, I feel like the UKS really need to sort of take a step back and sort of look in the mirror at what they're doing. But let us move on. Now, this costume is just so ridiculous. Bigfoot. Now, as you can see in this costume, they've obviously made it look like Bigfoot has obviously injured themselves, which is just so freaking adorable. Now again, this is another costume that is completely genderless. This could be a man or a woman. I have absolutely no idea who is in this costume. And this is what I love so much about the costumes that they make on the UK. Because in the US, quite a lot of the time with the female contestants, they give them very, very form-fitting costumes, which feels a little bit backwards if you ask me, because you're sort of taking it back. But still, let's not delve into that. This is what I love about Mars Singer UK, because the costumes here are so, loose and free that you really don't know, who could be in the costume. Like with Otter last year, the only way I figured out that was a woman, because they'd made area for, the breasts and all that. They'd made the breasts a little bit more obvious so that you could tell that it was a woman. But, yeah, if people hadn't noticed that, I never would have, figured out that it was a woman under there. So, yeah, I honestly don't know who this could be. And again, I have no idea of build, I have no idea of height, I don't know who this could be. I'm getting a sense that this could be an athlete, maybe, and the cast could be a sign of an injury, but then also it could be an actor playing up to it. You really don't know. But this person looks like a lot of fun. If they've dressed up in a costume that has a limp on it, they've obviously got a great sense of humour. I've dressed it up in a costume that had a cast on it before, and it was so hilarious, because you've got to act like you can't walk properly. It's just hilarious. It's fantastic. But yeah, I'm getting athlete vibes from Bigfoot. I could be wrong, but let us proceed. Now this, for me, has to be the best costume of the entire series. Now there are a lot of speculation as to what the name of this costume could be, like Thundercloud, Lightning, Rain Cloud. But this is weather. This is just weather. And you can see, there's the lightning bolts, there's the cloud, there's the rain falling down on the skirts, and then you've got the sun poking out from behind the cloud there. Very reminiscent of typical British weather. But I have a feeling that this person is going to be a really, really good singer, because for me, you don't give somebody a costume like this if they're not going to be able to make it long term. But I said that about Heather Small in Series 3 when she was the Chandelier, and then Michael Owen ends up beating her and she ends up going out to Jamie Winston and Charlotte Church, who were both in very, very impressive costumes, but I feel like it was a waste of the Chandelier costume. It really was. But yeah, this looks like it could be absolutely fantastic. Now, I don't know the height of this person. She looks sort of middle height, but again, these promo shots don't give you anything because of the tunnel vision. You can't see, you can't properly see the height because they're so close to the camera away from the end of the tunnel. You just don't know. So yeah, but I'm really hoping that we see this costume long term because it is fantastic. So I'm very, very excited to see this person sing. She looks like she could be really good. And finally, we have the most ridiculous costume of the entire series. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the Dippy Egg. Look, why they had to stick the Dippy on there, I have absolutely no idea. I get that it's supposed to be reminiscent of Egg and Soldiers, which is a very, very popular breakfast over here. But to call this costume a Dippy Egg, it just sounds so childish. It sounds so childish, but obviously this is going to be a costume that appeals to the kids, without a doubt. And whoever is in this costume, they obviously have to have the best sense of humour on the show, because this is just so profoundly ridiculous. This is the jacket potato of this series, because you've got the yolk spilling out of the sides and the top. They are actually in an egg cup. They've got the spoon in the top to scoop out the whites so that you can dip your toast in the soldiers, and you've got a stick of toast in the top. This costume is just fucking amazing, and I love it so much, but I really hope it's not on the show for that long, because it's just so ridiculous. This is the one costume that I'm like, what the fuck were the producers smoking over the course of the summer? And I'm just like, my mind is blown. My mind is actually blown by this costume. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what this costume brings. Now, I'm not sure if this person is going to be the best singer of the series. I'm hoping that they might surprise us. But judging by how ridiculous the costume is and how mad, Donuts was, and the fact that we had Michael Owen in that costume, my hopes aren't high so far. So, yeah, I'm not getting professional singer vibes from this costume. I could be proved absolutely wrong once the show starts. But it's ridiculous beyond, this costume. And again, you can't tell height, you can't tell build, you can't tell anything from this costume. And this is something that I feel like we do, above and beyond so many other Masked Singers. The costume designers on our show, really try and disguise the build of the person who is in the costume. And they do it in such a fantastic way, where others, whereas I feel like Masked Singer AU and US, they put such form-fitting costumes on some of the contestants, and some of those are actually very, very reminiscent of the build of the person anyway, that it makes it a bit too easy to guess who it could be. So for us, and so the fact that our costume designers really, really try and disguise the build of the person, I have so much respect. And yeah, this costume is just bonkers. It's just absolutely bonkers, and I cannot wait to see who is in this costume. I really can't, because they have obviously got such a great sense of humour to do this show. But yes, that is the full lineup of costumes for Series 5. Now, obviously, we've had the I'm a Celebrity special, and very soon we will be getting the Christmas special. Now, somebody did release the names of the decorations. Not a flaming Christmas tree. Of the costumes for the Christmas special this year. I don't know, I'm probably not going to review that one as well, because it's probably going to be relatively the same as I'm a Celeb. It's not going to be that competitive, it's just going to be for fun, and the best singer probably isn't going to win, which isn't my favourite thing to do, because I do get a bit opinionated about stuff like that. Because I'm very, very passionate about good singing. I'm a little bit of I'm kind of like the Craig Revel Horde of singing judgment. I get very, very passionate about when things are done right and wrong. But, yeah, I am very much looking forward to seeing the Christmas special. I'm obviously going to be watching it on catch-up, because no way are my family going to watch that with me, because they hate the Masked Singer with a passion. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to reviewing the new series in the new year, because it looks absolutely spectacular, and it feels like it's going to be the perfect send-off for me, and the perfect thing to just take me through to when the new holiday season starts. But yes, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. My review of the Masked Singer costumes for Series 5. Hate it when I slip and do the American pronunciation. For Series 5 is done, and I am absolutely thrilled that the Mars Singer is coming back this year. I forget who I've wanted to see on the show this year. Obviously, some contestants are going to be out because they will have signed up to Strictly first. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see who is on the show this year. But yes, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you for the start of Series 5.